Am I the a-hole for banning my girlfriend from using glass cups when she is over my house? My girlfriend has problems with glass. She is clumsy, always has been, and has broken many others before now. And I would not mind, but she is also shit at cleaning the shards. This past week alone, she has dropped 3 glasses, 1 jar, 2 bowls, a coffee cup, and busted a plate by leaving it on the stovetop while the oven was preheating. Despite being warned many times before that items should not be on the burners when the oven is heating because the conduction carries through. She's been stressed out at work, so I kind of attribute a lot of it to that. I can't even really say which glass objects have injured me, specifically each time, just that I have been limping for a week because I stepped on a big shard that went into my foot, and some smaller ones went into my foot as well, plus some in my palms. Because I missed them when I kneeled to pull the ones that were in my foot. I have stepped on or pressed my hand into glass 4 times this week. Tonight, when she asked for a soda, I poured it into a plastic cup instead of a glass one like she prefers and said she couldn't use my glasses and she pitched a fit. I can't phrase it differently. She progressively got angrier at me for bringing up the other broken glasses because they were just accidents and I shouldn't punish her, especially because I started mentioning others before this week, but even so, I am sick of going through gauze and tape. She insists I'm making a mountain of a molehill and I should clean it up myself to my specifications because she does her best.
How long has this clumsiness been going on? I'd be worried that there's an underlying medical issue, because that's a huge number of items to have broken in such a short space of time. Does she give any reason why she drops things? Could be eyesight, nerve issues, or something more involved like a neurological problem, and the clumsiness is just a symptom. You need to encourage her to get checked out by a doctor because this isn't normal.
She has been breaking stuff since she was a kid. Dropping, bumping into, being forceful. Bull in a china shop. The only thing that they really found testing was some ankle turning. There is a technical term I can't remember, basically toes pointed in, which attributed to her tripping, but PT at around 9-ish helped a lot. She does go through phases and is more clumsy when stressed or frustrated or emotional. As such, she doesn't think it's an abnormal amount of clumsiness, and if I say anything, I'm being frustrated or exaggerating.
Does your girlfriend need glasses? My fiancé used to drop fragile stuff, and finally, when it affected our wallet, he agreed to go to the optometrist. No longer clumsy. Not the a-hole. She unfortunately lost her glass privileges when you continued to get hurt.
Not the a-hole. Even unintended actions have consequences. The part about telling you to clean to your specifications is what gets me most here. If there is shattered glass on the floor, you clean up until it is gone, so no one gets hurt. That's just common sense. Just like doing it yourself if you caused it.
Why does she not care that he's being injured? It hurts like a motherfucker and she's not the least bit concerned for him.
Because she's selfish. If she cared about breaking things, she would use 2 hands when carrying a glass item, and she would use a modicum of effort to clean up the breakages. I have 2 cats. My husband and I both look for shards after whatever's broken has been cleaned because I can't put shoes on them.
Not the a-hole. If someone got hurt because of my clumsiness, I would be so upset and apologetic. I'd be extremely careful not to let it happen again. This nightmare a-hole person keeps doing it and yells at you. Now that is a piece of work. This is not a high-quality person. At all.
Am I the a-hole because I wanted to see my dad alone without step-siblings? So I, female 23, went with my now fiancé to visit his folks in his home state, and my dad actually lives in the state about an hour away. I called my dad and said I was near and maybe we could go to this great bar and grill I had heard about in the area. I saw it on diners, drive-ins, and dives, and we should break some bread and have a beer or 2. So he says that he and the family would love to. I said, I came to see you, not your wife and kids. I thought we could just have a meal alone. We have not seen each other since I was 15. He said it's all of them or nothing. I said then nothing, have a nice life, and hung up. So his daughter, who is 15 now, texts me saying she is my sister too and doesn't get why I can't understand that we are a family. I told her that legally she may be my stepsister, but I don't know her nor do I have any desire to. Side note, her mom was my dad's secretary. They had an affair and he left my mom for her. Then her mom called and asked why I was being such a jerk and not wanting to see her or my siblings. So I asked her why she was such a word and had to go after a married man and then encourage him not to pay court-ordered child support. I also said, "You are not my family nor are your children." I called my father, simply requesting a meal as adults to talk about our lives as they are now, not to drag up old shit. She said I was an a-hole. Extra info: before they moved here and I was in HS, they would get me every other weekend and make me babysit the whole weekend, miss my away games or have to take their kids with me. Until I stopped going to visit them. So am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. I wouldn't blame you at all if you decide to go no contact with your father. You're already too nice to even want to see him. Broke your family up and didn't pay child support. Shaking my head. I hope your mother had a vicious lawyer. In case your 15 years old stepsister doesn't know, tell her why. Better she knows the real reason than think you just don't like being her step-siblings due to some fault on her part.
Not the a-hole. Having no desire to see your father surrounded by his crew of stepfamily doesn't make you the a-hole here. Specifically requesting a solo conversation with your dad after so long without a meaningful one is perfectly reasonable. It's not unheard of that you'd want to reconnect on a personal level, without all the baggage of the blended family circus.
Yes, it's sad the man did not want to see his daughter without his new family present. I suppose he wanted them to be a shield in case OP asked some difficult questions. It is his loss.
Not the a-hole, though I'm not sure why after all that you'd still try to have dinner with it at a restaurant featured by the coolest man ever. Just go there with fiancé and have a fiery time.
She wanted to be mature and extended an olive branch to him. He's the a-hole for trying to force his new family on her. He still has some guilt and didn't want to face her alone.
Not the a-hole. Has your dad made any effort to connect with you since you stopped visiting? I doubt he gives you a second thought, except if they're looking for a babysitter. Forget about him, and have a lovely life without him and his chosen family. You're not bothering to invite him to your wedding?
Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's girlfriend to fuck off? This is a throwaway so I don't completely embarrass myself on my personal account because this is a little crazy. My wife and I, 39, lost our teenage son earlier this year. It's been heart-wrenching. My wife actually got fired from her job and she fell into a deep depression, as can be imagined. My brother has a girlfriend, 22, she dabbles in the spiritual world and into all that kind of stuff. 3 nights ago we had them over for dinner for my youngest birthday party. In front of my depressed wife and my 2 young children, 8 and 11, she says, "I can feel your son here." I say, "Excuse me." She tells my wife that she can feel his presence here, and that she just knows she can help us make contact and help us with closure. My youngest is confused, starts crying, my wife's on the verge of tears, my brother's staring at her in awe, like it's this great thing. I told her she needed to stop that or she could leave. She got upset and said she was trying to help us with closure that I don't understand. I told her to fuck off and leave. My brother got angry at me, we got in a big argument. They left. My wife is upset but thinks maybe I should have listened to her. She's desperate. My brother texting me how disrespectful I was to his girlfriend and I needed to apologize. That's not just something you say to grieving parents. Am I the a-hole?
You, sir, have fantastic restraint and are not the a-hole. I'd have a hard time not physically throwing her and your brother out my house if I had been in your shoes. As another person said, there's a time and a place for everything, and this wasn't either one. You all are obviously still moving through the grieving process and need time to heal your souls after something as traumatic as losing a child. You have my sympathy for that, and I hope you and your family can truly heal to where it won't hurt so terribly anytime someone brings up your son in the future. It took me a few years to get there after cancer took my father at a young age. As the girlfriend is fairly young and is maybe used to people that humor her spirituality and appreciate it even, maybe she didn't realize it was inappropriate in this case. However, your brother is a real a-hole for not only not stopping his girlfriend, but even defending her and arguing with you about it. My advice going forward, text your brother back about the complete lack of social awareness of his girlfriend and the trauma it caused to your family with what she said. And hold firm about not apologizing to her, nor is she welcome in your house or around your family until she can apologize to you and your family and keep her damn mouth shut. Dang, I'm getting angry on your behalf. Sorry, not sorry about that.
I'm a pagan and I wouldn't put up with her bullshit.
Losing a child is one of the most devastating experiences a parent can endure, and she crossed a line by making such insensitive and inappropriate comments. She was disrespectful and hurtful to your family, especially to your grieving wife and confused children. You firmly shut down her intrusive behavior to shield your loved ones from unnecessary pain. You stood up for your family in a difficult situation, and you have every right to defend their emotional well-being. Your brother should respect your boundaries and should understand that your actions were to protect your family.
There is a time and a place for everything, I guess. And your response was, in my opinion, totally appropriate. Not the a-hole.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.